Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us here today. It's Saturday, the 14th of May, and we are live here in studio, as you can see, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for all your questions, comments, thoughts, everything real estate, mortgage related. As you can tell, we've got a full house today. Excited. We've got some great content to talk about. Again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wohlmering of the We Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Throughout the show, don't hesitate to comment, questions, anything, any thoughts, questions, comments, thoughts. You can comment on the social media stream, wherever you might be seeing us, or feel free to call us live, 612-294-6949, 612-294-6949. You can call us or text us. Scott, we got a fun show today, a lot going on in the market. Good morning to you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Like Ryan said, we are live from 10 to 11, and it is an interactive show, so we'd love your questions. Like Ryan said, you can call us at that number, 612-294-6949, or you can just text us at that number, or go ahead and go in on the Facebook Live feed, and we'll handle your questions as they come in.
Mike Overson. Mike, good to see you there. You're taking a little breather from sending pre-approval letters.
Yeah,
They're nice to see you there, young man.
I stayed up late last night and got them all out, so
You
I
did?
could be computer free during the show today. Yeah, I was up till a little past 12 last night.
Up late. Mike and his team do an awesome job. Again, if you're looking for a mortgage person, questions, comments, thoughts, apply with Mike.com. Mike, excited in the first segment to talk interest rates too. A lot going on in that world.
Oh yeah, questions every time. A lot of people think I can predict the future
Yeah.
for some reason, and I can't.
Well, luckily I can. So
Well,
we'll
good. No,
we'll
good.
cover that when we get on.
I'm going to start directing all my people to you. Talk to my buddy Scott here. He'll predict the future
That's
for
right.
you.
Here we go. We're going live on air. Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It is May the 14th, 2022. We are live here at Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Scott Wohlmering of the We Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus, Mike Overson of Illuminate Home Loans, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Thank you for tuning in. We are here. We're live 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is mid-May. And Scott, Mike, good morning to you guys.
Yeah, good morning to you. Welcome, everybody, for tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can get with us the entire hour. You can text us at that number, call us at that number if you'd like to go live on air. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can type your questions in as we go. We are going to talk, like we always do, about everything going on in the Twin City market. You know, we are 100%, guys, in the spring market, and now the weather is actually corroborating that. So we're ready to go.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. We've got a great show today. A lot of different things to talk about from a mortgage standpoint, real estate standpoint. We're going to be talking a little bit later today with Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. Also have some great friends with us today, Rob and Marcus with Rubevi. Really just a creative, awesome media production company. They're going to be talking a little bit regarding video and the use of video. So fellow agents that might be tuning in, sellers, home sellers, clients, just something, some great content, great information. Mike, that we're going to be talking about. First segment, though, mortgage update. What's cooking?
Well, get a lot of questions about rates. Where are they going? What are they going to do? When are they going to level off? It's all those questions that everyone has these days. I always tell them, I can't predict the future just like you can. I'll give you my best 2 cents on what I think is going to happen. But just like every other mortgage professional in this industry, if you'd have asked all of us back in January where rates would be at today, we all would have said probably around 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're 5.375, 5.5 on a 30-year fix. So every single one of us would have been wrong. So it just goes to show that, it's affected by a lot of different things, and no one can really accurately predict the future. So if I had to take a guess, I think we'll reach the low sixes at some point this year. I don't know how long it'll hold up there, but I think we'll reach that point. I think later this year they'll eventually trickle down. So I don't know. I don't think we have to worry about rates getting completely out of control, even though 5.5 to 6 is not an out of control rate by any means. I mean, Scott's been doing this since like 1942 or something. He's seen rates all the way up to, what did you?
Oh, it was
I mean-
it was 8.25 when I started
Woo!
in '98.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8.25, and it's like, so if you take that into context, we're sitting good, a 5.5 rate. If you look over the history of 30-year fixed in the last 40 years, the average 30-year fixed, I think, is what, I think
It's like six-ish, I think.
yeah, high sixes. So
Yeah.
we're still underneath the average over the last 40 years. So
Yeah, the crazy thing about this market, though, which makes it a little bit different with rising interest rates, and we've talked about it on the show a lot. It's the only time that I can remember where we've had an inflationary market and an appreciation market that is so aggressive, and then all of a sudden you throw in the higher interest rates, so you're kind of getting whacked, three different ways.
yeah,
And so it'll be interesting to see what that does to the market, or just to buyers in general. I mean, if you qualified for a $800,000 home, 100 days ago, now you qualify for a $400,000 home. So I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah, let's look. Let's take a look here from a real estate standpoint. What's cooking from inventory, sales, that type of thing. So new listings in the Twin Cities did go down 5% year over year. So there was 5% less new homes that went on the market, 1,731. Pending sales decreased almost 10%, 9.3% less accepted purchase agreements this past week. And then the overall inventory of homes for sale is also down 7% year over year, 5,576 overall homes for sale. Scott, the other interesting number, the Realtor Association shared the April housing report numbers, the Minnesota Association of Realtors. Median sales price is still up. It's up to 340 year over year. So 340,000, that's 11% increase from April 2021. But those closed sales for the month of April being down about 11%. I think agents, brokers can feel that slowdown a little bit, Scott. Sellers can feel it maybe on their listings.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just math. I mean, the sales are down 10%, our inventory is down about 10%, or it's down about 7%. So, I mean, there's only so many homes you can sell. And, when the inventory levels at the, 5,500 homes, when a balanced market is about 18,000, there's only so much you can move. And again, if you remove the to be built new construction numbers out of those numbers, we're really dealing with probably about 3,500 homes, not 5,500 homes in the entire Twin Cities.
Mike, what are you seeing with agents you're working with, buyers, from multiple offer standpoint, getting offers accepted, that type of thing?
yeah. Actually, it's funny you asked, because I was going to bring this up. So this happened twice this week, where usually I'll reach out to the listing agent. So if the buyer's agent's like, hey, we're making this offer, here's the listing agent's contact info, can you call them and talk about the loan side of things and how far you're along in this and that. So I do that on every single deal. But this week alone, it happened twice where the listing agent reached back to me and said, my sellers would actually like to talk to you directly.
Oh, wow.
So I've actually spoke to two sellers, not their agent, but the actual sellers with their agent on the phone. And they picked my brain about, who are you? Who's Luminate Home Loans? Things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's competitive out there. I mean, I saw one offer come in. They're offering, if the Wild make the Stanley Cup playoffs, we'll buy you 2 tickets.
Yeah, I saw that.
That offer that came through, and everyone in Minnesota is just shaking their head right now because the Wild are obviously out now. But, you do what you got to do to get it done, and so stuff gets creative. I talked to 2 sellers this week. I've never done that before, I don't think, in my 17 years of doing this. So, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. There is some fear out there, I would say, in the market from a consumer standpoint regarding home prices. And to Scott's point, with inflation and rising interest rates, and what will that mean for existing homeowners? And Scott, again, I think the big difference this time around compared to, the last housing crash when we were in it, we felt it, we were part of it, is really just the supply and demand from an inventory standpoint. There's just limited supply. To your point, MLS listed inventory is down. There is a fair amount of non-MLS or pre-MLS sales that happen for a variety of reasons we've talked about. But with just a shortage of inventory and still stronger demand, it causes prices to maybe not go up at this crazy rates they have, but stay steady and slowly increase over time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it is totally 100% different than the crash of 07. The crash of 07 was a mortgage industry issue, an appraiser issue, where banks were basing everything on Beacon credit score. And so you could come in and buy $1 million house, and if you made $25,000, as long as you had a decent credit score. And so, of course, when everything's appreciating at 15%, that makes sense, because at the end of a couple of years, you sell the house, you make a lot of money. Problem with that is all of a sudden, if you double your inventory from 18,000 to 35,000 in 90 days, nobody's got any money in their houses. People just walked in droves because they don't have any cash in. Totally different now. We have limited inventory. You have to have a down payment to buy a house. You have to qualify to buy a house. You have to have an income to buy a house. People are not going to, even if there's an adjustment, and I don't think we're going to have an adjustment where we're going to see prices move backwards in the near future, but I do think we're going to see it flattening. Instead of moving at 10, 15%, we're going to move at, 1, 2%.
Teddy texted in to the show. And by the way, you can text us or call us 612-294-6949. Teddy texted in saying that he is in forbearance right now, wants to sell his home. What does that mean, Mike, from a mortgage standpoint?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're going to see a lot more of this come up, for sure, because, the forbearance thing went into play. And the benefit of that was, hey, you can basically put your payments on pause. You don't have to make your payments. So there's going to be no negative impact on your credit report for a period of time. So if it's a 6-month forbearance or 12-month forbearance, whatever it end up being, there's no negative on there. Then you basically pick up where you left off after that forbearance period. And so a lot of banks made it super easy to put your loan into forbearance. But what was not as explained to people was, what does it take then once you come out of forbearance if you want to get a new loan? So if you want to refinance to a lower rate, if you want to sell your house and buy a new house, are you eligible to buy a new house because your loan is in forbearance? And so if you do have a loan in forbearance, there's really 3 options that come up. In order to qualify for another loan, whether it's a refinance loan or another purchase loan, you either A, have to take the loan out of forbearance and make all your missed payments in one shot. So as soon as you take it out, if you miss 6 payments, you got to pay all 6 payments right then and there.
Well, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
If you can do that, then you're eligible right now. You can qualify for right now.
I see.
Option number 2 is you take the loan out of forbearance, and then you make 3 monthly payments coming out of forbearance. And as long as you make those 3 monthly payments on time, then you're eligible for a new loan.
Okay.
A lot of people, I think what we're going to see is they're in forbearance, and when they come out of forbearance, they can't make their payment. And so what they're going to do is they're going to sell their house because they have equity in there. They're going to sell the house while the current loan is in forbearance, and then take that money and maybe downsize or something like that.
So if they do that, if they sell it, does it ding their credit then?
It doesn't ding their credit, but the problem is that you didn't take the loan out of forbearance and make up all your missed payments, or you didn't take it out of forbearance and make 3 payments in a row. So now what happens is that you have to wait 12 months from your sale in order to be eligible to get a new loan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful of that, because I'm working with a client right now that he's like, hey, I'm just going to sell my house and wipe out that loan. It's in forbearance. I got a huge down payment. I'm going to qualify, for a downsized house and stuff that I can afford. And I was like, sorry, you can't do that. You got to get your current loan out of forbearance and do one of those 2 things. Otherwise, you got to sell the house and wait 12 months.
You have to pay the piper.
Yeah. It's the Peter principle.
We're at the first break already here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We welcome your questions, comments, thoughts like Teddy's. We're here to help you with any further questions about that with the forbearance. I do think we're going to see more of that. Feel free to join us here. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. A very good question. And Mike, to your point, I think we are going to start seeing that maybe more so.
Yeah. So I think inventory will go up a little bit because of it,
Right.
So this particular it really depends on what kind of industry you're in. I mean, restaurants, hotels. I work with a concrete finisher who, COVID wise, he was shut down for basically an entire year, and that's a seasonal job. So he was out for an entire year of 2020, basically, because then he ended up having back surgery too. And so you're going to run into situations and stuff, especially with people in certain industries, where they're going to be coming out of forbearance now, and then what does that look like now for them?
Want to welcome on, and we're going to be going live back on air in just a second, but we have some new guests in studio with us, and a very excited. The company is called Rubevi. Rob and Marcus, great guys, wonderful professionals. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. Right?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
It is. It's kind of cool. I was looking at your website too. Very impressive. You're on the website rubevi.com. It says, "In a sea of sameness, be unforgettable," and it says custom video and branding for real estate professionals. Very cool, guys.
Yes, sir. Ryan, the core of why I started this business is to help people win. I love to see people win. I'm a licensed minister first, and this platform is simply just a platform which I thrive in as Zone of Genius. So how do you help people win? You solve problems. You don't attack everything like it's cookie cutter. You get to know people. You vet them. You like, what are you going through in this industry? And everybody's different.
Right.
Obviously, as an agent, you know yourself. You have a team. We might work with an agent who's just getting started.
Right.
You know, from that standpoint. So it's actually action power questions, being very relationship oriented, and just loving on people. And I'll let Marcus expand on that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought up in the sea of sameness, be unforgettable. It's the thing is that, everyone's, especially agents, everyone's working off the same database, right? Everyone is, and right now we're seeing such an influx of kind of side hustle agents.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, for agents in such an oversaturated market at this point, where there's so many more professionals than there are homes, it's so important that you focus on building credibility, and that you focus on building your own personality in your community, and also your visibility. And that's really where that line comes from, in the sea of where everyone is trying to sell homes, that you are how do you differentiate yourself from a semi-professional?
Yeah. We're going back live on air.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to continue the discussion here with Rob and Marcus. Thanks for joining us here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hey, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Hope your weekend's going well. It's May. It's warm out in Minnesota. Yowzers. Hope everybody is okay and not too much damage from these terrible storms this week. What a crazy week we had of storms, Scott. Bad news, wasn't it?
It was. Well, I put out a video on Facebook. I'm on the 15th floor of my building downtown.
Yeah.
And it sounded like you were in a jet plane when that wind came through.
Yeah.
It was a little scary. I had my mom in town.
It was scary.
Just sitting in the middle of the room.
It was scary. Scary indeed. Hey, I want to invite on, we were just talking a little bit on social media as well. Want to invite on, we've got some new friends with us today. Rob and Marcus are with a company called Rubevi, a very cool, very innovative and stylish company that does custom video and branding for real estate professionals. We know we've got a lot of friends, fellow agents, brokers that listen to the show. And just want to welcome on Marcus, Rob. Thanks for coming on here, friend.
Ryan, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Tell everybody, Marcus, a little bit how and why you started the company.
So I started Rubevi in 2018, and I'm a licensed minister by trade. And like I said about 5 minutes ago, I love to see people win. I love taking somebody to the next level and somewhat attacking, because I feel like each one of us are heroes of our own story. So I somewhat position Rubevi, we position Rubevi as a guide. Okay, how can we take you to the next level? How can we be the Yoda in your Skywalker journey?
I like it. I like it.
That's how we approach it. And from that standpoint, we solve problems. You know, we ask power questions. We talk to our clients. Okay, where are you at? Where you want to go? And so, and how can we get you there? And when we formulate different content, and everybody is not the same, right? Everything is not cookie cutter, and we love on our clients. And I'll let Marcus expand on that.
So Marcus and Rob, it just help people understand. So from a video standpoint, you think about someone like Scott. Okay, Scott, you've been in the business how long again? Yeah,
25 years.
So think of all the years. Did you ever do anything related with video? I mean, did anyone do anything with video for the first number of years of your business?
No, not from a branding standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, you would do like we did that major commercial for the movie theaters, but that was an actual commercial. Now you're seeing video done, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everywhere.
TikTok,
And,
especially.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yep.
Talk about that, guys. Talk about that just in what you're doing to help others.
Yeah, so I think our kind of main priority is to help through video to help real estate agents. I'll talk about agents specifically, but this kind of extends to all different professionals who are in the industry. Is to really focus on three things that help. That I think outside of video is also extremely important for you to have a successful business. And that is visibility, credibility, and personality. First of all, people need to see you. People need to be able to identify you in the crowd, and that's kind of our slogan. In a sea of sameness, be unforgettable, because there's so many agents and only so many homes. It's really important that you show your face and that people know who you are. And then, of course, we're seeing a huge influx, and I'm in no means say this is a bad thing, but a lot of kind of side hustle agents who are saying, okay, I can make a quick buck. I'm going to just get my license and do this on the side. It's just creating such an influx of agents that people or your clients, your customers start to need to figure out who they can trust,
Right?
Who has the most experience, who can get them their house sold or their house bought. And then, of course, the last one, which is really underrated, is personality. You want to, the best of both worlds, of course, is having great bedside manners. In additional,
Like Scott.
right? In addition to
I'm known
being,
for that.
in addition to being expert, and people want to, like, when they want to work with you, they need to relate to you on some kind of level, so you don't
100%.
become interchangeable with someone else.
100%.
So we work by creating showcase, property showcase videos, but also our real focus is on building long-term relationships and focusing on personal branding and really helping create a social media presence and show who you are as a person and why you love what you do. Right.
Yeah, very cool, Marcus. It just seems like I can tell you guys really have it dialed in. You're well known in the industry with a lot of the other companies, agents, and brokers. And to the point, there are a lot of agents in the industry, a lot of people that just got into it for different reasons to try to make a quick dollar. But you guys are really shining.
And I'll think one of the reasons because of that is that relationship aspect of it. At the core of business is what relationship, and how do you, in order to write that big check to somebody, you got to trust them, right? And just from what Marcus was speaking on, to being credible, right? Showing your agents in the arena, tapping into their personality, what makes them stand out from the crowd. And that aspect is very important. You need to be visible in this world that we live in now, social media age, or you're somewhat of a dying dinosaur, so to speak. And we're storytellers. We love telling stories, and that's what makes us stand apart. That aspect of it.
Super cool. What do you think, Scott?
Well, it is. I'm just sitting here thinking about my own business. Through
See what you got going here,
through-
I
guys?
said dinosaur. You got
You got emotional.
yeah, through the years, I've even said it to Ryan. The last couple of years, like I feel like some of it's passed me by because everything has gotten so visual and if I'm doing something, I want it to be consistent. I want it to be uniformed. I want to have the same visual every single time. Well, it takes somebody like you to be able to set that format up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, from a time standpoint and just the energy and what agents are doing, the use of video, we see it so much in homes for sale. Again, when you get a really professionally done, dialed in video, they always say your first home showing is online. In
Yes,
other words,
sir.
everybody's looking online, they're looking on social media or whatever. So just the importance of what you guys do is I mean, can't be understated. Other thoughts for our listeners, guys?
Yeah. So I think it's important to throw some statistics out there because it's kind of eye opening how video really can transform your business, but how much more effective it is, for instance, than just working with still photography. We're not using it all because video receives over 400% more engagement than any other medium of marketing in real estate, right? And then my favorite one is always that 85% of sellers, folks who are trying to sell their home, they're looking for an agent who uses video marketing,
Right.
and only about 7 to 10% of agents do. So there's a huge discrepancy there.
100%.
Yeah.
So you can increase your chances if you're listing, and you can increase your chances so dramatically just by offering video.
I don't like to be on camera.
Yeah.
Isn't that a common objection?
Honestly, a lot of our clients don't. To be honest, and we all suffer from insecurities. To be honest,
Yeah,
but
I do.
we all do. We all do. But the thing is, just like everything, consistency is key.
Right.
You got to get with somebody you trust. You got to get with somebody that is watching your posture. Is watching.
Yeah.
Knows the best side of your face. So all those aspects, you gotta have that relationship aspect that the person will go an extra mile to make you look somewhat plush behind the camera, just by just making it transactional and just shoot a video and send it off. That's not what we do here.
Yeah.
You guys have some editing software. You can like whiten teeth, and you can smooth out some wrinkles in the face, things like that. Or
We can make you look like the Hulk. It's easy.
There we
Just
go.
Some VFX at the end.
It is before the break, guys. Maybe my thought with this when it comes to video, and you think about video and people doing video, it's just funny how illogical our brains are. Because if you think about it, hey, Marcus, Rob, if I'm going to meet you guys for coffee today, I'm going to see what you look like.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to see what I look like.
Oh yeah.
So when you think about it, it's like, well, I don't want to do a video because I just don't like my appearance, or I don't want to send someone a video. Well, I mean, if you meet them,
they're going to see you anyway.
they're going to see you anyway. So it's just easy. It's an easy way to just say, yeah, I'm not going to do it.
It's just the fear of seeing yourself on video. And a lot of actors too, famous actors, don't like watching themselves, and that's a common thing. I hate listening to my own voice.
Sure.
But once you start to realize that people who are watching the video are the same folks who are seeing you in person, if you can just get that in your head, then you just totally free it up.
We're up against our halfway point. We're going to continue the discussion with our friends from Rubevy.com. Be sure to check out their website. It is RUBEVY, RUBEVY.com. Really just cool, really impressive stuff. Guys, we're going to keep the discussion going. Marcus, also phone number, best way for people to reach you guys by phone.
You can reach me at 612-670-4384.
One more time.
612-670-4384.
Right.
Robert Rubevy Productions.
Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool, guys. Well, we're going to keep the discussion going. We're at the halfway point here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. You're welcome to join us by phone, text, or social media comments. We'll be back after the break. Very cool stuff. Looking at your website too, Steve. What do you think about some video for your business? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Turn the
I don't
tables.
think the Photoshop tool exists to really make me presentable.
You can do it, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, it's all about personality. It's
Yes, see?
all about having that charisma.
Yes.
You can be an ugly duckling, not saying that you are.
I
still sell.
I got a face
still
for
sell.
radio and a voice for print.
And still sell.
Well, I would think too and it'd be interesting in the home inspection world to see how much could be done by video, learning videos or different aspects with home. I mean, Steve, we're challenging you today. We're putting you on the spot,
Oh
but
man. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the craziest thing about video is the amount of growth that you see. So, for instance, we're able to bring agents who are looking to grow their total sales volume, annual sales volume. We're able to bring them up by 30%.
25 to 40%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we our last
Consistent
one of our favorite clients started at was like 7 million a year. Now she's at you said 13
13, yep.
13
Oh
million
my
now,
gosh.
Yep.
as a direct result from this.
Very cool.
No, it makes total
I
sense.
mean, I agree. I mean, I've been doing video emails for
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 years now. So my first email to
Yeah.
clients is usually a video email.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many applications that come in. I haven't
100%.
talked to anyone. They haven't met with me or nothing. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a video email that goes out. So they see me, they hear me, and boom, an application shows up and we're off and running.
You're present when you're not present,
Right.
and that's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan does video every day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan's great at video.
Yeah.
That person.
I need help. But it's funny how illogical our brains are when you think about that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm going to meet you guys,
Oh yeah.
but I don't want to do the video
Oh, yeah.
because again, I don't want to
Yeah.
see myself.
100%.
I don't know. But Mike, you were one of the first mortgage people I think I can ever remember doing video. I'm like, wow, Mike's using this program. I forget what the early one even was. And I'm like, wow, you are way ahead of the game.
Yes. Co-video.
Yeah.
Still use it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Co-video.
Co-video.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Co-video. Hey,
It's just
you're
like bomb for a bomb.
yeah, it's like blah, blah. You're welcome to join us. Any questions, comments, thoughts as well. We're going to be diving deep here also with Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. Steve, with these storms going on, thoughts for people?
That was brutal. Get out. Homeowners, get out and take a look at your own house. Look on primarily the west side. That storm came in from the west. South and west metro too really got hammered. Shakopee more so. So that direction. Get out, take a look at all your siding, soft metals. If you see any damage, get a contractor like All Around, good
Yeah.
partner with the
Yeah.
show. Get out and get a look and see what kind of damage needs to be addressed.
Wonder how bad it was. Did you guys hear anything just amongst friends or
I
stories?
mean, lots of fences down, lots of trees down on homes.
I mean,
Big
Yeah.
trees.
Big
Yeah,
ones.
do you see it? Where was that one? Was
Coon
that in
Rapids.
Coon
Coon
Rapids? The one that
Rapids, yeah.
split the house?
Yeah.
right in half.
That was
Oh
brutal.
my gosh.
Did you see
Yeah.
that?
I missed that one.
I'll pull a
Is
picture.
it
I mean,
weird that tornadoes though never really feel, and I grew up in Chicago, they never really feel like they happen in like the urban metro area. They
No.
always
Yeah.
happen outside.
Outside,
Is that
yep.
just like
Thankfully,
a
yeah,
coincidence?
right.
Or
There's
Right.
a reason
Nothing is
historically why metro areas grew.
oh, okay.
They didn't build out where,
Interesting.
all the tornadoes run through.
That makes
There's a
probably
reason
sense.
you have Tornado Alley down
Right.
in Oklahoma
Smart,
and
yeah.
Nebraska.
Smart
You don't
plan.
build houses there.
Steve,
That's the one.
interesting. I've never
Oh,
heard that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Well, yeah. Well, they can't survive in that.
That looks like my friend's house. Oh, it's not though.
Yeah.
I think it was outside of Oklahoma City a few years ago. A
Oh,
new
wow.
housing development grew up over the last 5 years. And a lot of people, you shouldn't build houses over there. That's where
Right.
they're trying to tornadoes go. Along comes an F5, wipes out like half a city.
Oh,
It's
wow.
It's like, well, you shouldn't have built there.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why we don't build in certain areas.
Hopefully from an insurance standpoint too, we had Brad Sanford on last week, does an awesome job with Farmers Insurance. Be sure to reach out. Here we go. We're going back live on air. Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130. Hey, welcome back. Gotta say, I wanted to congratulate agent on the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. Her name is Elizabeth Rumble. Elizabeth got married yesterday. It was a beautiful wedding celebration. I'm very happy for her, her now husband, Jeremy. Wonderful day. It was an outdoor wedding, Scott, Mike. It was a beautiful day. So she's a sweetheart. Super excited for Elizabeth and Jeremy. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like I've always said, and the wedding's the hard part. Marriages are easy. It's just once you get through that wedding, everything's rosy.
I did have a friend who listened to a recent show, and Scott kind of affectionately was describing his two ex-wives, both of who are friends of his and very nice people who I know as well. But they just thought it was kind of funny. He's like, wait, did Scott Woolring say he has two ex-wives?
I do. That'll be the end of it, though. There won't be any more ex-wives.
Oh, hey,
That's interesting.
hope everybody's having a great weekend. We're trying to have a little fun here too. And we gotta invite on our friend Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. He's been a long time preferred partner with us. Home inspector in this market. We're seeing a lot of consumers not do home inspections, and I'm seeing a lot of problems after closings. Almost daily, I will get a message from someone saying, "Hey, my buyer didn't do a home inspection, and here's what happened." Steve, good morning to you.
No, well, great way to lead in. Yeah, that's one of the byproducts of an extremely hyper competitive market. That if you were a home buyer, especially first home buyers in that very competitive market, if you want to have your offer accepted and stand out amongst 18 offers coming in, one of the first things you can do is waive that inspection, which it makes total sense. However, the side effect is now we're going to be hearing all the stories about all this and that, and clearly the sellers knew and covered up. A lot of times I've talked about it before. A lot of sellers just don't know. Maybe there is some cover up, but there's stuff that they just don't realize. And you move in, you didn't see half the stuff, and after 3 months, you discover, oh, my furnace is 30 years old, or there's a leak in the basement, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be hearing that.
Hey, we've got a caller here. Let's go to Dan. Dan, thanks for calling the Minnesota Real Estate Show. How can we?
I'm a faithful listener.
Thanks, man. Thanks for.
Yeah, I have a question for you, young gurus. Maybe you don't remember Jimmy Carter.
I do.
But yeah, why were interest rates at 19? I think that they made it climb to as high as 19%. Could you tell me what those indicators were, or what was the scenario that put America in that funk? And what's the likelihood of that happening today? So the indicators
19%.
and what we could look for today, and or the scenario, and could that happen again? Of course, it can happen again, but I can hang up and listen.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for your call. We'll go to that question. We appreciate you listening to the show. Scott, thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, I remember Jimmy Carter, but I was a little kid at that time, so I don't know what the indicators are, but I would guess the difference between the housing interest rates at that time and the housing rates interest rates right now is the government didn't have control of home interest rates at that time. Everything was driven by the federal funds rate. So again, if inflation was out of control, I know there was something that went on with the I can't remember, not the banks, but the savings and loans that possibly had an effect on it. The difference now is the government actually literally has control of interest rates. So, like Adam Hartung always said, there's 41 economic factors that drive the economy that have to do with the housing market staying solid. So it would be really weird if the government actually let the housing market crash when they've got control of interest rates, meaning that if they needed to just drop them, they can. Mike?
Yeah, so they don't directly control them, but what they can do is they can pump a bunch of money into the mortgage-backed securities market,
Yeah.
Right.
and that money flooding in there is going to lower interest rates.
Right.
So, and that's what they've done in the past. And that's part of the reason why we see interest rates rising now is because last fall they started pulling money out of the mortgage-backed securities market because they clearly said they're going to start pulling out of that piece of it. And that has caused some of our increase in rates, and then inflation is really the other piece. So yeah, so I think what happens here is if home prices continue to go up, which I think they will, not at the clip that they were, but they're going to continue to go up. And if rates get to a certain point where it really starts stalling the real estate market, the feds can always come in there and say, hey, we're going to start pumping a bunch of money in the mortgage-backed securities. Let's drive these rates back down to 4. Let's stimulate some stuff and then see what happens from there.
As you guys are talking too, I was looking too just to get some additional thoughts and opinions. I thought it was interesting. They said when Jimmy Carter took office in January of 1977, unemployment had reached 7.4%. Carter then, they said, responded with an ambitious spending program and called for the Federal Reserve, the Fed, to expand the money supply. Within 2 years, inflation had climbed to 13.3%. Adam Hartung was just on last week or the week before, and that's all he was talking about was all of the money that has been spent. and what is happening as a result of it. So it sounds like it's the same thing, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy. You can't spend money that you don't have and expect inflation not to happen. We printed it, like I think Adam said, there's 52% of the money in circulation that has literally been printed in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
When you do that, eventually you got to pay the piper.
Scott prints money.
I print money. No one will take it. I'm trying to hone my skill.
Hey, speaking of printing money, the other thing, I have a big friend who's a big crypto guy and was talking about Bitcoin falling and everything, and crypto had a horrible week. And it's like there hasn't been really any good news out there, Mike, with much in the markets this year.
Yeah, it's been a different cat. And like I said before, I mean, you asked any mortgage professional back in January, none of them said that we would have rates in the mid fives like we see now. None of them would have said that. So it's been a little bit of a surprise, but it is what it is. I mean, you look back, it's kind of like, oh yeah, all that stuff we did during COVID, all the, money that was printed and, some of the handouts, if you will. That's what we're dealing with the aftermath of that now.
I was talking to Matt Engel, and Matt Engel, who is the partner with our show, attorney partner, and he was talking about, unfortunately, evictions are rising tremendously now that eviction moratorium has ended. And so he was just discussing how backlogged the courts are right now in Minnesota with evictions. And he was talking about with the Rent Help MN's website, with a lot of the money that was put out, he said there were a few clients that got literally like almost $50,000 in back rent help through this. And so now that's the whole eviction thing, Steve, that's starting up now too.
It's complicated out there. It's
It is
really complicated. And so good luck to everyone trying to work their way through that. It's tough.
Steve, we did have a question for you here on social media.
Sweet.
Says, I've had a few customers the last couple of years that have waived their home inspection, and I've made a couple $1,000s of their mission fortune because of the problems that arose and things that needed to be fixed after they took possession of their house. Oh, their misfortune, I think they meant to say.
One thing that I'm seeing, it's not terribly common, but I suggest if you have recently purchased a home and you had to waive the inspection, before you get too deep into that home ownership, the first week or so, have it inspected. Just learn what you got yourself into. You knew that you waived the inspection, you needed the house. There's lots of factors there, but at least learn about the house. And that's primarily what I find that I do. I'm going through and I'm trying to see what's damaged and what needs to be repaired, but I also teach about the house. I try to sit people down and say, here's what this is what that thing does. And, it's a lot of information, but that educational value is still very worthwhile. Consider it if you've recently purchased a home and inspect it.
Yeah, we're going to come back and continue the discussion after the break with Steve Stalock. Win Home Inspection. MNRealEstateShow.com is where you can find him. And he is, as he says always, the handsome bald guy. If you look at MNRealEstateShow.com. We will be back after the break. Steve, that seems common though, to that question of just finding problems post closing. Are you doing many of those mini inspections during showings?
Some, and it's not an inspection. It's just kind of another set of eyes to try and help you. You're going to be waiving the inspection. You're going to be writing an offer non-contingent. So people hire me to say, what can you see?
Yeah.
So out in the industry, there's a lot of negative sentiment about that type of
Mini
service.
inspection?
Yeah.
Do you call them mini?
I'm
just
Abbreviated.
abbreviated.
I call it a visual consultation.
Oh, it's like a hybrid fixed loan.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was trying to
So
remember
you-
what that was. Hybrid
Basically,
fix.
I'm not promoting it as an inspection, but I am someone who's trained to be looking at things. It's like,
That's good.
if you walk into a house, are you going to be able to tell, well, how old is that furnace?
Right.
I'm also the kind of person you don't want to go golfing with, because I'll sit on every golf course goes through a neighborhood, and I'll be sitting on the tee. It's like, oh, that roof needs to be replaced. So I'm looking at stuff from a distance.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm also the person that walks around a house and say, oh, there's something really not right going on up there. So most people walking around a house, you're enamored with the flowers out front or the color of the shutters or whatever. You're not really looking at the critical things that need to be repaired. And I look past all the cosmetic stuff and I see, oh, we have an issue on the roof kind of thing.
Yeah, I encourage all my clients that we have an inspection. And let's be honest. I mean, in 25 years, I think I had 4 homes or 5 homes that I didn't do an inspection on. Last year, I only did an inspection on 1 home. This year, I've done an inspection on 1 home. You just did it out in Faribault, but it was an upper bracket property, so there wasn't as much competition. And so I always tell my folks, I'm like, just like Steve's saying, get the inspection done after you close. At least you know what you're dealing with.
Right.
Don't let something fester that's already there that's going to get worse.
And be prepared to learn stuff that you'll gnash your teeth over.
100%.
Because who crawls through an attic during a showing? Nobody. Who walks the roof during a showing?
Yeah.
Mike does.
I
Mike's
do.
an all-purpose loan
Yep.
officer.
Yeah.
All purpose.
Yeah. My showings, I show up in a helicopter and then they drop me on the roof. So
Yeah,
I start
yeah.
there and then I work my way down.
We need that
I
little
work my way
device
down.
like Star Trek had for diagnosing the body. We need
Yeah.
a scanner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, then you're
Here's
done.
Then you'd be out of a job.
I know.
I'd be the inventor of that.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, we thanks for so many folks joining us here on social media, wherever you might be catching us. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We do appreciate it. If you have topics you ever want covered or discussed on future shows, let us know. Don't hesitate to let us know if there's certain things that you'd like us to talk about. We're going back live on air right now. Again, Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Hope your weekend's going well. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I want to give a shout out and a thanks again to our friend Mike Dubs of K102, who comes in every Saturday morning to help us to produce the show. Thank you, Mike. We're grateful for Mike and his efforts, taking extra time on the weekend to allow us to do the show here. Scott, I did want to touch on Sally Gill with RE/MAX Advantage Plus has in the Minnesota real estate team. She's got a new listing. This one is at $250,000. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath townhome in the colony of Edina. It's got a private fenced-in patio, awesome location, walking distance to Southdale, to the mall, to the Galleria and restaurants. 6443 Berry Road in Edina for $250,000. Wow, $250,000. The other one's got Karen Lunzer, awesome agent on the Minnesota real estate team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus as well. 15031 December Way. This was just reduced, Mike, down to $319,900. $319,900 on this one. It's an updated 3-bed, 2-bath townhome. It's got tons of natural light and an open floor plan, desirable school district. 15031 December Way, reduced to $319,900.
And that's in Rosemount.
Yep, check that one out. Mike had a text message question come in, very good one. Just says, why have rates doubled since last year?
It's a great question. I mean,
We're up against a break.
Yeah, it's all Mike's fault.
I mean, so 2 things. So when COVID happened and rates dipped, the main reason why rates dipped so low is because of COVID, right? So I always say, watch COVID. When COVID becomes something of the past, when you don't see it in the media and people stop talking about it, that's when rates are going to start going up, because that's what caused them to go down. Once that goes away, they're going to go back up. So,
but why did COVID? I mean, why?
Because the economy crashed.
I know. I just want to hear what.
Oh,
Mike
sorry.
said.
yeah, so that was part of it. And the Feds also stepped in too. They also stepped in and they were pumping a bunch of
Pumping
money
Yeah.
into the mortgage-backed securities market that was helping drop those rates. Since then, the Feds have now started taking money out of that market, and we see inflation happening. And so inflation is bad for interest rates, because when the dollar is worth less, you have to have more interest in order for investors to make the type of money that they want to make. So it's the 2-pronged deal. COVID went away. That was one thing. And really it's the Feds pulling out is really what the deal was there. And then it's inflation kicking in and causing rates to go up.
Tammy commented, said, Steve, do you go on roofs for every one of your home inspections?
Everyone that I safely possibly can. There are reasons that I can't or don't. If it's obviously in January, it's pretty rare I get on a roof. So ice conditions,
Steep pitch.
very steep pitch. But in the cases where I don't, I've got ways to still examine the roof surface up close and personal. Get the camera up there and really examine that roof. So
Okay.
yes, the answer is when it's safe and I'm not going to put my life at risk. So.
Steve, have you been a little busier the last couple months? Are you seeing more people actually do home inspections?
I've been a little more steady. I can't say historically that I'm really knocking it dead right now, but I have seen an uptick. For a long time, all I was inspecting was either very, very large homes, 6,000 square feet and up, or houses way outside the metro, in areas where it wasn't quite as competitive.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to see some things more normal.
Steve, before we forget, best way for agents, fellow agents, or customers directly. We've had some
Yeah.
home sellers reach out to Steve directly, some home buyers reach out to Steve directly. Best way for people to connect with you and your expert home inspection services.
So everyone's got their pen and paper ready, right? My phone number is 952-891-4455. That's 952-891-4455. But as I always say, you got a great website, mnrealestateshow.com. Really like that page, Ryan. You got the preferred partners there. Click on the preferred partners going on to home inspections. Look for that really handsome bald guy.
Marcus,
gotta
you like
look
that?
for.
What do you think? What do you think of Steve? He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. I was thinking about, from an inspection standpoint, and it's actually nice that some more inspections are happening,
It
Scott.
is.
You know what I mean? Just to avoid post mortgage.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve had done a home inspection for me on a home in Eden Prairie.
Yeah.
Big home, expensive home. And he did the pre-inspection. And of course, buyers are still going to have their inspection if they can.
Sure.
And so they did. And out of the inspection, there was one thing, and that was only because the HVAC system was turned off. They thought it wasn't working and it was turned off. So the point is, if you're concerned with having any issues after the sale occurs, having a pre-inspection is not a bad idea, because this inspection went through and there was literally nothing because they'd already corrected anything that Steve had found.
I got a scenario for you guys. I want to get your thoughts on this because this came up this last week. Buyer gets a home inspection done, and the only thing that came in the home inspection was they scoped the sewer line going out, and then they
Okay.
saw tree roots going into the sewer line, and so that ended up canceling the deal.
What?
So now, because in the inspection thing, it was either a pass fail. It's either we're
Right,
gonna just
right.
sect it and go, or we're just gonna say no and cancel. There was no negotiating based on the results. So now does that listing agent, because they probably know about that, because there's probably was reason as to why we canceled, this is the reason why, does that listing agent now have to disclose to buyers that
Yes.
that is there?
Yeah. If she's got knowledge that there is an obstruction now in the sewer line, and she's got knowledge of it, she's got to disclose.
Interesting.
Realtors are held to a higher standard, where if your agent is aware of anything, they have to disclose that. Even if you have the seller have chosen what's called the seller's disclosure alternative, which is kind of a stripped down version of just saying it is what it is, but your agent still has to disclose that, Mike. And by the way, if you do have tree roots in the sewer, I'll tell you, in a lot of cities and communities, it's super common. Bloomington, Richfield, parts of Minneapolis, it's a common maintenance item. I wouldn't get freaked out about it. Just personally, from owning some investment property over the years, I've learned more about that than I probably ever cared to imagine. It's a common thing. It's like getting your lawn cut.
Right.
I mean, it needs to happen.
Right.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the fix is what they can either can they bore it out? Can they send something in there?
Yeah,
to,
they just send a thing that goes in there.
Yeah, there's ways to address it. So you had mentioned certain neighborhoods. Well,
Yeah.
it really comes down to age of the home
Right.
and the pipes that were used for that. We call it a sewer lateral pipe going from the basement out to the city street. A lot of them were cast iron. Well, cast iron has a normal useful life of 70 to 80 years. Guess how old those houses are now?
Right.
You know,
Right.
so yeah, you've got tree root invasion into either a deteriorated, rusted spot or the joints of the pipe.
Yeah.
And yes, and they get obstructed, and then water backs up to your basement. So they can, you call, some plumbing service to root out the roots. Or we've developed some technologies that help us still repair that. Once it's been cleared out, they can go through and sleeve it and install a repair if it's a broken or a hole in the pipe. We do some things to try and avoid actually digging up the whole front yard, and that's where it gets expensive.
Yeah.
If you have completely damaged or missing or gone pipe, you got to dig up the yard and put down new pipe.
Rob, before we part for today, if I'm thinking about video, but I'm just a little hesitant, what would you tell me?
I'll say video is the new thing. Now, everybody's doing it.
Yep.
Just like I said earlier, it's very essential for your business growth. So I would say get with somebody you trust. Get with somebody that's not transactional and somebody that you can do video consistent with. And with that consistency, you grow in that. You grow in that comfort level. You grow in that transparency. Just like with everything, that 10,000 hours of mastery, you got to put in anything that you're great at. And if you want to home into from a production standpoint, we'll love to help.
Yeah, good work. Can't encourage that enough. Hey, we're at the home stretch here. Scott, Mike, last thoughts for our listeners?
Just, again, the spring market's here. It is a great time incredible time to sell still. Best time that we've ever seen in my lifetime. And if you're a buyer, just hang in there.
Yeah, I'd say on the buyer side of things, I get a lot of questions. It's like, Cal, now is just not a good time to buy. Because they hear home prices up, they hear interest rates up.
Yeah.
When you say that, what you're really saying is that I think it's going to be better a year from now. Because a lot of people think if you're in the market to buy now, but you sign another year lease, you're you're buying next year. So do you really think that buying next year at this time is going to be better than today?
No.
I don't think so. So think about that. You can't go back in time. You can't go back 18 months ago and buy a house. That's impossible. So compare what your options are, either buying today or buying 12 months from now. And I truly believe that 12 months from now, home prices will continue to go up. You'll pay a little bit more for that house.
It's been a fun show, the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Every Saturday, we're here 10 to 11. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, we would love to help you. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Hope you enjoy the sunshine today and the nice weekend. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take care. Woo! Thanks for joining us, Rob, Marcus. Nice work, guys.
Man, it was
Thanks.
a pleasure.
Your
It was a
radio
pleasure to be here.
debut.
Pleasure
Yeah.
to be here.
You weren't
so
even nervous.
Pleasure.
Woo!
I had a question for Steve. For the roof, do you ever use like a drone to examine it?
I don't
or-
use drones.
Okay.
I've got a 30 or 40-foot telescoping pole. and I
Interesting.
Got
put
it.
the camera
Okay.
on top and use it remotely. Drones are a can of worms.
Okay.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're great, but you need a pilot's license. You gotta
100%. Yep.
you gotta fill out a flight plan.
Yeah.
If you're
Scott's been doing that.
so they're great. But there's also some
There's a lot of
downfalls.
caveats, yeah.
100%.
Heavy winds, heavy rain,
Exactly.
drones are not
Heavy
very
concealed.
useful. The way I do it, it can be 40-mile-an-hour gusting winds and pouring
Still
rain, and
stable,
I'm
still good.
still getting the camera up on the roof.
Hey,
So-
we're at the end of the show. Grateful for you
I'd like to
listening,
get a
taking
car,
time.
by the way.
We'll be back next Saturday. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here. And if you have questions, comments, thoughts, Rob, Marcus, great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Steve,
guys.
Mike, Scott, nice work.
Thanks for
Have a
tuning
good
in.
week.
All right, we'll be signing off. Take care.